What's going on? Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode Off the Schneid. We're talking playoff best ball. Might be the last. I might do one more stream. Probably do one more on Wednesday or something like that. But I think that might be it for new tournaments, new contests being released on Underdog. We'll see. There might be another low dollar, mid dollar. I would be okay if there was like another $25, $20, $50, something along those lines. But we'll see what ends up getting released. Obviously, they're going to want to focus on getting the gauntlet filled, which I think it will. Obviously, now that everything's locked in, we'll see what happens. Going to that, or in the spirit of talking about what happened and what's going on, looks like everything went as far as, don't want to be tooting my own horn, but it went the way that I thought it was going to go and the way that I had been drafting. So I'm pretty happy to see that. Steelers are in the 6 seed. That's what I wanted. The Chargers are in the 5 seed. That's what I wanted. The Texans were already there. The Bucks in the 3 seed. That's really, really what I wanted. I wanted Bucks Commanders. I early in the draft season, as soon as these contests open, I was kind of drafting like the Packers are going to be playing the Bucks. If you've been watching this show in the last 2 episodes since I started doing the playoff stuff, that 3-6 matchup is one that I've been really focusing on the NFC side. So Bucks, Commanders, I was drafting it originally like it would be Bucks or Rams. Realistically, I didn't care at that time versus the Packers. Obviously, the Packers didn't get there. They're the 7 seed, so I switched it up when I thought it would change, which, last couple of weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, I think, I switched it to Commanders. Started working out. So we have the Commanders versus the Bucks, Rams versus the Vikings. Some pretty good matchups. So, realistically, entertainment-wise, they're pretty much everything that you could want and ask for. So we'll see what happens, but I'm just super happy that everything kind of worked out the way that I was hoping it would, the way that I had been drafting like it would. So yeah, good to see. Definitely good to see that. But the few new contests open up on Underdog, so let's pull it up. Let's pull it up. The bigger dollar tournaments have filled. The bigger mitten, I think, the big mitten and the bigger mitten have both filled now. The $100 buy-in, $500 buy-in. I did do 2 $500 buy-in drafts, which were pretty hefty, obviously. 2 of the bigger mittens. I don't really like how my teams worked out. I got the 5 pick in both of them. I'm probably going to leave it there and not do any more. I don't really feel the need. I maxed the big mitten. I maxed that 5 max entries, and I'm happy with how those teams look. If you want me to show them, fire it in the chat. I'll be happy to show the lineups that I ended up with. But let's take a look at these new tournaments, these new contests that were launched just today. So only a couple running right now. There's only 3 running right this second. The Gauntlet, obviously, still going almost 70%. I think this probably will fill by the time the playoffs start, or at least it'll be exceptionally close. 61,000 entries already out of the 90. So we'll see. I think it will fill, but we'll see. I only have a few more entries myself. I'm not going to max enter it, just because I don't see a crazy amount of value in drafting right this second. I definitely wanted to wait for those bigger dollar value tournaments where I want to know the matchups. I want to know who's the number 1 seed, that sort of a thing. Honestly, it didn't end up really working in my favor, considering getting the 5 pick both tournaments that I got into, but it definitely helped with the big mitten in my final 2 bullets there. So look at the 2 that were launched today. There's the Little Gauntlet 2, 10 max, $10 entries. I'm definitely going to max this out. So 2 of 6, 1 of 5, 1 of 6 for 124 seat final. I like that. That's juicy. Makes sense. 10K up top. I'm happy with that. I'm definitely going to max enter this one. Let's take a look. What was the original Little Gauntlet? I feel like the top prize was more than that. No, it was only 10K. Okay, there you go. So same thing, same tournament, same advancing. Everything makes sense. Like I said, I'm gonna max enter that as well as the first one, and that's what we're gonna be drafting tonight. I do want to talk about the Mitten 3, the new tournament, the new Mitten 3 that just got released. If you're not taking a look at these things, you absolutely should. You need to pay attention because it's 1 of 6 advancing. So out of round 1, only 1 team advances out of 6. 1 of 10, 1 of 5, 375 seat final. Still 50K up top, which is great. But I'm not going to force any entries into this. I just don't really see the need personally. I got tons of entries in the Mitten 1 and the Mitten 2, 2 of 6 in both of those. So I wanted to take advantage of those tournaments specifically. If there was a 1 of 3 1 of 6 earlier in the draft cycle, like earlier in the released earlier, let's say the Mitten 2 was 1 of 6 before we knew all of the seeding, I probably would have entered a few of those tournaments. But now that we know what we know, I really want to take advantage of those 2 of 6 tournaments where I can get this, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Detroit Lions. Earlier it was the Minnesota Vikings as well. But either way, just pay attention to that. You do need to adjust your draft strategy 100%. If you guys really want, I guess we could do a couple. If there's an appetite for it in the chat, let me know. But that's not what I'm planning on drafting tonight. It's going to be the Little Gauntlet too. But Chuck E. Cheese, it will fill. The big ones are gone and the small ones are filling in a day. Yeah, 100%. Like I said, this Gauntlet 2 will most likely fill probably by the end of the day, if not early tomorrow. So I'm going to try to max this out today. Being on the West Coast, it'll probably be full before I wake up, most likely tomorrow. So honestly, I'm going to try to max that tonight and just plow through it. Luckily, you can get through some of these drafts pretty quickly. And like I said, that's what we'll be drafting tonight. So either way, the only tournament right now you need to be kind of cognizant of is the Mitten 3. That's 1 of 6 out of the first round. Just pay attention to that. Adjust your draft strategy. If you do want to do a couple of them, we can. Throw it in the chat if you really want. I will adjust my strategy a little bit. But since we're here, let's do a Gauntlet 2. I've already done 2 of them, so I have 8 more to draft before it's full. Let's dig into it. Waiting for a couple. What has changed? Nothing's really changed as far as ADPs. Patrick Mahomes is moving up. Justin Jefferson has moved up a ton. Maybe I'll show what I have for the 1-1 influencer 1-1. Maybe I'll show a draft that I have. And again, why I don't have a crazy appetite to be drafting the Gauntlet right now, because a lot of the super teams are already drafted. You just can't get those types of combinations anymore. And I'll show you one I have. I posted it on Twitter yesterday or early this morning, something like that. But I posted on Twitter. Basically, if it's a Ravens-Vikings final, if it's Ravens-Vikings Super Bowl, I'm pretty much definitely going to win the Gauntlet. But I'll show you that draft in a little bit. Definitely Dennis. That's who it is. Toast 0420. That's who it is. I knew I recognized that name. Appreciate you coming in. Hopefully we don't snipe each other too much. But appreciate you coming in. I'm going Josh Allen. Make it easy. What did I get in my first 2 drafts? Let's take a quick peek at that just to know. Not that it would change my my strategy at all with picking Josh Allen. There we go. Get out of here. Josh Allen 1-1, make it easy. I think it's exceptionally easy just to draft Josh Allen at the 1-1 right now, especially, but it always kind of has been. So I think every time you have the 1-1, just take Josh Allen, move on, build out your Buffalo Bills, stack, and kind of take it from there. Vikings ain't going to no Super Bowl. Okay. If that's your opinion, it's fine. It's not like I'm a Vikings fan over here. So I'm sure you can tell by the stuff behind me, but if you think it's not possible for a team that won, what was it, like 9 straight? If you think it's not possible, then don't draft Vikings. If you came here just to talk shit, then that's cool. I appreciate you coming by either way. Yeah, you're not offending me, man. I'm not a Vikings fan. Anyone getting out of line? Nope. This will be interesting. AJ Brown, Devontae Smith. Where do you go from there? That's why I find it interesting. I don't know what you're going to do to catch up on the NFC side. This is an interesting start. Wow. Baltimore, Minnesota looking like for definitely Dennis. We're going to go James Cook, make it easy for sure. And Jameson Williams makes the most sense. This is a very common start, though. But I'm still going to go down that road. I might try to get a little bit unique a little later. Luckily, it is a smaller tournament, a smaller field, only 11,000. That's a lot still, but it's smaller. So I might have to try to get unique somewhere. We'll see. A little bit of chaos. Yeah, you're not wrong. A little bit of chaos for sure. I mean, definitely Dennis. That's a great start. I love it. Baltimore, Minnesota. It's an easy way to build. Makes a lot of sense. I mean, I don't hate the 3 seed here. I don't despise this as long. Let's see how the plane lands before I judge it. Really, we'll go back and talk about these. This makes tons of sense. That's a great start. So these two, what are you going to do? Houston side, okay. Baltimore, but then you're not going to have a stack for the Super Bowl. So just don't understand this strategy. If I'm being honest with you, it just doesn't really leave you many outs. I mean, I guess you could build out the Washington side and then say that Washington and Philly make the NFC, championship, and maybe Washington goes to the Super Bowl against Baltimore, if that's the story you're telling. Okay. I guess it is what it is. Looks like we're going to both be building a Buffalo Detroit Super Bowl, which is a little frustrating, can be. Let's go Laporta for sure. Probably Addison. Yeah. Or Laporta. I think I might have to start taking some Bills because I'm going to get sniped a little bit by this guy. So definitely Laporta. Let's bring in, I'd really like to get a wide receiver that's going to play. Let's go Addison. I don't love it, but again, I want to get unique somewhere, but this is interesting. This is really interesting. Well, that wouldn't be the build because you have Patrick Mahomes, right? Is this you? I don't know if this is you drafting, but you have Patrick Mahomes. So good luck getting this team out of the wild card round, right? But the Jalen Hurts kind of situation is interesting. He's still in concussion protocol, which, it's what, Tuesday, Monday. I'm not too worried about it. It's just interesting that he's still in protocol. I think he'll play. I think he'll be available, and I think they'll win. All that, I'm not too concerned. I wouldn't draft like he's not going to be, available. And if you were, this is not the way to do it, obviously. But I'm not talking 6-hole. I'm not sure what you mean, Chuck E. Cheese. If this is the build you're talking about right here, Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes, if Jalen Hurts is out for the playoffs, you're thinking, but how are you going to have a quarterback in the Super Bowl? Is my question. Let's go with, this does open the door for David Montgomery here. I don't know why I wouldn't do that. Yeah, that makes tons of sense. Lost Amari Cooper to the Detroit Buffalo drafter. Makes sense. That's fine. I'm not too worried about it. That was some pretty encouraging news, I thought, with David Montgomery in the Vikings-Lions game last night. They showed him on the sideline, talked about it a little bit. Supposedly he got in a full workout. I don't know what that means. That doesn't mean he's out there, like game speed, but supposedly he was moving, cutting, things like that, which is obviously very, very encouraging, very important to see. So I'm gonna, with another week off, right? He's gonna be super motivated to get back in the lineup. I think he's gonna be back at some point, especially with the bye week. I'm planning on not having him for the wild card round anyways. So David Montgomery is getting a lot more viable now for me after that news, after last night. So, yeah, I don't know either. That's what I was getting at right off the hop. Just the Philly start. You're basically fucked. Like the only thing you can do, which is what he did, is the Washington side, which is what he ended up doing. So that's really all you can do, because Philly wouldn't play Washington until the conference final. So most likely, not even, they 100% wouldn't until the conference final, right? So that's really all you can do, unless you think one of those one-off AFC teams are going to make the Super Bowl, which I've been talking about it for all of these episodes I've been doing. I do not think that. So I would rather take the wild card Washington Commanders and see if I can, piece together that way. Only 3 Buffalo Bills. That's kind of not what I wanted, but it's not the end of the world. I will bring in like a Dawson Knox or Mac Hollins, something like that. But who do I want to try to? I think if I'm trying to get a little bit unique, I'm going to go with Hollywood here. And then I need another 3 more picks. Yeah. And then I need another Bill and an advancement piece. So let's get Jalen McMillan in there. So I think that makes the most sense. Chiefs, Bills won't play until the conference final. So let's build that out to get a little bit unique, especially in the conference championship. Obviously, with the build I'm building, I'm hoping the Bills beat the Chiefs, but Hollywood puts up, a score, gets me through. And then we'll kind of take it from there. That's something that you kind of have to try to do to get a little bit unique, especially in the 1 of 10s. This one might not matter as much with it only being 1 of 6, but the 1 of 10s, it's quite important to find some uniqueness somewhere, especially with those bye week teams. McMillan's looked great. Putt Daddy, what's up? McMillan has looked really good. I saw some funny posts on Twitter because he did the whole, fingers up, first down sign, got flagged for it. Rookie mistake, just put the finger down and point, but someone on Twitter was saying, shame on him for making a gun symbol with his finger or whatever. And then he scores a touchdown a few plays later and they're firing off cannons in the stadium, right? Just bow, 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 bow. And he can't stick his fingers up. Like it's kind of, it's kind of ridiculous, but it is what it is. Like it just is what it is. You got to abide by the rules, do what you got to do, and, keep the league happy sort of thing. But he's definitely looked good in the last few weeks. That's for sure. And moving into big boards, I can't wait for the big board. So stick around for that. If you're new to the channel, hit that like button. Feel free to subscribe. Hopefully you appreciate the content. Like, comment, share, blah, 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 all that stuff that we all say because we like it. We need to. Helps us grow. Cost you nothing. Things like that. But we'll be drafting big boards pretty hot and heavy as soon as it opens. So definitely got to wrap it up with a Buffalo Bill. Let's go Mac Hollins or Dawson Knox. Pick your poison. Baker's throw was very good. Baker just really took over that game, put the team on his back a little bit. That was really encouraging, especially as someone that really wanted the Bucks to win that game. So winning, you're in. Win, you hopefully get the 3 seed. The Seattle Rams game, I was on the edge of my seat as well, wanting the Rams to lose, which they did. And then, kind of set the slate the way that I wanted it. But let's jump into another gauntlet too. If you do want me to do a mitten 3, just to switch it up a little bit and show what I would do, not that I'm going to draft a lot. I'm probably only, I'll draft whatever if it's requested on here. That's about it. But let's jump into another little gauntlet 2 and see how we can build this out. But yeah, I think I still think that my kind of surprise Cinderella team, now even more so, this is exactly why I was saying it last week as well, or the last episode that I did, playing the Bucks, winnable game on the road. Yeah. And then on the road against the Lions, it's a tough road. Don't get me wrong, but I think the NFC is just way more open than the AFC. So, and I might actually try something a little sneaky, a little different in this draft right here that I think would be unique, and you never know. I'm probably going to try it right now. Hopefully it works. And then just, see what a build like this kind of looks like. I might try something like this in the gauntlet, but maybe not. It's a little bit more expensive, obviously. I don't mind putting a match to a $5 bill or maybe a $10 bill. But a $25 bill is a little aggressive just to be trying things, That's what these mittens are for. Just try some different things. The little mitten or whatever is the $3 one. Perfect place to try different things, get unique, do some crazy stuff, whatever. So I'm going to go Derrick Henry here. As I said before, I mean, I could definitely go Jalen Hurts, and that's who I have. I do have, like, if you want to talk rankings, I would have Hurts ahead of Derrick Henry, but then I think it should be Derrick Henry over Gibbs, over Barkley. I talked about it a couple weeks ago. It's just way easier to bring back the NFC side than it is the AFC side. There's only 3 teams in the AFC, period. There's only 3 teams. And if you disagree with me, okay, cool. Go yell at the wall, yell at the clouds. I don't really care. But for me, it's the Ravens, the Bills, and the Chiefs. I don't think I'm, getting out of line saying that. But on the NFC side, almost literally anybody could push their way into the Super Bowl, and I wouldn't be blown away shocked about it. So that's kind of my take on the, it's obviously reflects the way I draft as well. But that's kind of my take on the conferences and who I think has a legitimate chance at getting to the Super Bowl. So let's see how this works out. I fully expect Patrick Mahomes to go either here or both with Goff. Both go. Okay. That's kind of what I was planning for. We're going to go James Cook. So this is kind of what I was planning for. This is what I wanted to try. We'll see how it works out. Bucks already beat the Commanders, Eagles, and Lions, which is likely their road to the Super Bowl if they make a run. 100%. 100% it is. They also lost to the Atlanta Falcons twice, right? So, once the playoffs come around too, it's a different animal. It's a different beast. This is going to be an interesting build, I think. I'm going to go Mark Andrews. Might not make a lot of sense what I'm doing right this second, but it'll come around. It will definitely show up in a second here in a few picks. It's definitely something I just wanted to try. I was thinking about it last night. And to be honest with you, shout out to Liam Murphy. in one of the biggest drafts that there were, one of those, he took James Cook. Mind you, he's a massive Bills fan, obviously, but he took James Cook in the first round. And I thought that was really interesting. And that kind of led me down this path. And again, you'll see what I'm doing in a few minutes here, and then we'll talk through it. We'll go through all the teams in this draft. Maybe should have done it last draft for Dennis in the chat. My apologies. If you want, we can go back and go through it. But you started good, looked good to me. But this is something I was thinking about last night, thinking makes sense, wanted to try it, and here we are. So hopefully it works the whole way, the way that I really want it to. But we will see. We'll see. Should be interesting. Should be unique. And that's what I'm trying to do, some different things to get unique. That's just really important to me right now. In these smaller, the thing is, it's only 10 entries. I get it, but that's enough that you can do maybe 10 different things, or close to it, and get some exposure to kind of everybody. But yeah, we'll go through these teams, like I said, at the end of this draft, because I do want to talk about what I'm doing right now and what my thought process is and what my strategy is. So hopefully it works the way that I want it to. Looks like it will. This is going to be really interesting. Now we're going Khalil Shakir. Jordan Addison still on the board. There he goes. This might be too close to pull off, but I'm going to give it a whirl anyways. Isaiah Pacheco. I'm obviously done at running back. Definitely Dennis. I'll enter another, and we can review that draft. I've drafted McMillions, as he's affectionately known, before, likely in the previous draft. Yeah, we'll go through. I'm definitely going to be doing another one or two. But I will be going over this draft after, regardless, at least my team for sure, because I'm really trying something different here. Hopefully it works out the way I want it to. It'll be really close. It'll be really close. I need to get past these two teams right here, Jared Goff and Patrick Mahomes, which it's looking like I might here. But we'll see what the Jared Goff drafter does. Dallas Goedert doesn't make a lot of sense with Devontae Smith. I guess that's a way to get a little bit unique. Okay, that's interesting. He's opened some doors for himself. Super DG. Evans, Bucky, well done. Well, I'm just not sure what your plan is here. You're really closing doors on yourself in the 6 seed. So, I mean, I talk about it every time we do these drafts. It just doesn't make sense. The mistakes that you see, just doesn't add up. This guy needs to draft another Chief, almost for sure. Okay, there you go. This guy needs to get some AFC going, some Bills, some Ravens. We'll see what he does. Montgomery, perfect. Okay, now we're going to bring in Terry McLaurin. So I think you can tell what I'm going for now. And it should be super unique. I'm going to try to get another Chief. It should be super different. Who do I have left for Chiefs? Just Hopkins, hey? Likely won't get back to me, but I can bring in Noah Brown, and that's okay. That's okay. We're going to bring Jaden Daniels, obviously. There's my quarterback. So obviously, if you can't tell what I'm doing, this is working out perfectly. Honestly, this is working out exactly how I wanted it to when I was thinking about it last night and kind of running through the ADPs and the possibilities and where I need to draft so and so. So I'm obviously going with the Washington side on the NFC, and then I'm bringing it back with 2 Ravens, 2 Bills, and 2 Chiefs. Right? So I'm going to go 4 Washington Commanders, and then I have 2 of each team that I think can make the Super Bowl. So I've said it many times, and don't take this as gospel. Don't think I'm making a prediction over here. But I think that if there's a Cinderella team out there, I've said it multiple times, yet last show, this show, multiple times, I think the Commanders could be a Cinderella team. I think they can get past the Bucks. And honestly, they could give the Lions some real troubles, I think. But I've been wrong lots. So who knows? I definitely want to go Brian Robinson here is where it makes the most sense. Let's go Brian Robinson. I lied when I said I'm done at a running back. I can't be because I need a 4-piece on the Washington side. So I'll be bringing in Ertz, and I'll be bringing in Zacchaeus with probably Noah Gray, I guess, is the way I got to go about that with Pacheco. So a little different, definitely unique. Not that I'm sitting over here saying this is likely to win, but I think if the Washington Commanders make a run, this will be unique. I'll have a good shot at winning this tournament. TCage 40, I'm going to try to hop in the next one with you. Sounds good, man. I'll let you know. I'll let you know in a few seconds here once we wrap this up. I'm going to go through this draft, though. I do want to talk about it. Was Washington the same strategy Liam was doing with the Cook first round pick? No, it wasn't at all. He was going for, and he actually got sniped on it for no good reason. I ended up going with the Washington side in that because it just got a little crazy, mostly with the person that took his stack. Actually, he built out James Cook, and then I think it was Amon-Ra St. Brown, and for some reason, the Jalen Hurts drafter took Goff as well, and right before Liam's pick. So that was pretty brutal for him. Sniped his Bills Lions Super Bowl stack. Didn't really make sense. And actually, Liam tweeted about it last night, and I commented, considering I watched it happen. It was pretty, it sucked for him. It looked like he was going to line up nicely, and yeah, just for no reason, he got sniped. He was building Buffalo, Detroit, and just kind of got sniped on it. But that's, again, what led me down this line of thinking. I always like to look at, can you get all of the pieces from whatever team? And Buffalo, you can do a pretty good job at it even still. Before, you used to be able to do it with the Ravens, and I was drafting like gangbusters at the start when the tournament got launched. And I'll show you in a second here. Actually, I'm just going to go and show you what I did with the Baltimore Ravens, because I thought they were grossly underpriced, and it was an absolute steal of a time to take advantage of that. So I did. We'll see, and maybe the Ravens don't make it out of the first round, lose to the Steelers. You never know. But it doesn't change the process. So we'll go with Zach Ertz over Olamide Zacchaeus. Perfect. Okay, so I do want to talk about this. Then we'll go do some other things, and then we'll do another draft. So yeah, Derrick Henry. I think Derrick Henry at the 3 spot is perfectly acceptable, regardless of anything. So I would do that, and I have done that a lot. So I'm okay with that. That's a good pick, I think. Bring it back with James Cook. I'm obviously setting up the AFC, another AFC team, or sorry, same team, wraps up my double stack on the Baltimore side, get Khalil Shakir, and I have all the best pieces. I have all the best pieces from these 2 teams, and, the best running back piece from the Chiefs as well. So I have, you could argue, the best pieces off of all of the AFC teams, obviously beside the quarterback, right? And then I start digging into the Washington side, bring it back. It would have been a lot funner and cooler if I could have gotten DeAndre Hopkins, who I've seen go all, last pick in the draft. So I was hoping he might fall. Not likely, considering there was Kansas City Chiefs here. I was taking Kansas City Chiefs, and I think this guy, there's a couple more Chiefs there. I guess this guy does have a Philly KC stack. So that worked out, I suppose. I would have opened more doors for myself. Like Buffalo, I would have taken Shakir right here, but I'm happy he didn't. But yeah, I think this is a viable strategy. I think I got 4 pieces on the Washington side, right? And then 2 of each of the teams that I think can make it. So can you do that with any other team? The answer is no, not anymore. You can't do that with any other NFC team realistically and get those AFC pieces, right? Not that I'm saying go out there and do this yourself and, everyone should try this or do this. I really am not saying that at all. I'm just saying that was my thought process. So in thinking about this Derrick Henry, James Cook situation, again, Liam is the one that led me down the path. Like taking James Cook that early, I thought was like, it just alarm bells. Like, what's going on here? Is that a mistake? I don't know. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's a good pick, and then just leads down the rabbit hole of a thought process, which led me here. And this is literally exactly what I would have wanted, except that, I'd rather DeAndre Hopkins over Noah Gray, obviously. Other than that, I'm exceptionally happy with this build. So, we'll see. If Washington somehow makes the Super Bowl, there's a good chance I'm winning the Little Gauntlet too, right? But in speaking to that, I wanted to show you, this is why I'm not really drafting much for gauntlets anymore. Because look at the original or earlier in the draft cycle, right? So this is a little beauty I put together. Let's just look at the full draft board. Might as well. So I was the 5th pick, and the Baltimore Ravens were just grossly, ridiculously, horribly undervalued early for God knows why. Saquon was going at the 2 pick, Gibbs, Amon-Ra, right? Made no sense to me whatsoever. So I hopped in as many of these gauntlets as I could. I was just hammering drafts. So Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, got Zay Flowers, Justin Jefferson was going in the 20s once upon a time, right? Mark Andrews, 29. Aaron Jones, who's won't get past typically here now. I got him in the 6th round. He's going in the 2nd now, 2nd, maybe 3rd, right? So Jordan Addison, Rashad Bateman, likely, TJ Hawkinson with my final pick, right? This is never, ever, 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 ever happening again, right? So if it's a Baltimore, Minnesota Super Bowl, I'm winning the gauntlet. Like, I'm pretty sure I have the winner already, not that that's going to happen going off of, earlier comments. I'm not out here saying the Vikings are going to win the Super Bowl. I really don't care. I don't think if they're going to the Super Bowl, win the Super Bowl, I don't really care. The point is I can draft a super team like this a month or whatever it was ago. And I would do it today if I could make it happen. Right. I don't care even if it's the Rams. Well, you can do it with the Rams, but whatever. Like I just said with the Commanders, that leads to that conversation. So this type of a build that I just did a month ago or whatever it was with the Ravens and Vikings, where can I do that again right now? And in my answer to that was Washington, and that's it. Maybe the Bucks. You could probably do it with the Bucks as well. So again, if you believe in some of these teams, just try different things. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Oh, yeah. So I wanted to show all the Baltimore teams I drafted. Baltimore. Boom, 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 boom. Baltimore. Yeah, all Baltimore. Why? Because I could get Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson back then. And I just thought that was madness. You got a little Houston, Detroit to throw in there, which was a horrible draft, obviously. But Yeah, I just thought that they were horribly, horribly mispriced and it was going to skyrocket from there. So that's all I was doing for like 20 drafts is trying to get as much Baltimore Ravens, especially Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry as I could possibly get, which, I think I did a pretty good job of. But yeah, we'll jump into another one. If you're in the chat and want to jump in, doing a Little Gauntlet 2. Hopefully there's seats. Sorry, if you were in, you're in. If you're not, you're not. My apologies. There's only 6 slots, right? If you are in it and you're in the chat, let me know. I got the 6th spot. Could be another place to try that, Derrick Henry, James Cook kind of start that I did. Maybe I'll go Bucks this time, something like that. But the Bucks go ahead of the Minnesota. Sorry, the Bucks go ahead of the Washington Commanders. So I don't think you could really put together those AFC pieces, like you can if you're going with the Washington Commander side. Not that I want to have too much exposure to it, so I probably won't do that again in this 10 max tournament. Dennis, sorry, man. I think I was the last one to fill it up. There's only 6 spots. They fill quick. My apologies, man. But yeah, this tournament's gonna fill, I think, probably before the end of the night. No, tomorrow at some point, probably. Yeah, what time are we? Yeah, probably not till tomorrow, but I'm probably gonna just max it out tonight. We'll see. We'll see if we can fit them all in. But I don't know. Let me know. Let me know what you think about that strategy in the chat. If you think I'm huffing glue out to lunch, let me know. I don't think there's really realistically, I don't think there's any way you could really say that, but you never know. I'm fully open to being wrong. You have to leave the door open that you're completely fucking wrong. You really have to leave that door open always. It's like one of my main mottos. So we'll see. I could go Barkley, Patrick Mahomes here. Makes some sense. Da Melch. Cool name, I guess. Yeah, if it's there, I'll take Saquon and Patrick Mahomes. Let's build out. I'm just going to quickly check if I have. I do already have Mahomes, Amon-Ra. I guess I could try to get unique with that. Yeah. I could go Mahomes, Derrick Henry, just for the advancing. But I'd rather have the pieces. I think that you can find some advancement pieces late in the draft if that's all you're looking for, right? So maybe that's the way we'll go. The direction we'll go with this one is how can I have prime pieces of a number 1 seed versus number 1 seed, which, don't get it twisted, no matter what I say, that is the absolute most likely outcome. Chiefs, Lions is the most likely Super Bowl outcome, no matter what anyone says. If they tell you any different, they're wrong. Period. They're wrong. They're not lying. They are just wrong, because that is the most likely outcome and the most likely Super Bowl matchup, right? So I definitely would recommend 100%. You need some exposure to that outcome in your portfolio of drafts. You have to have some exposure to that. You have to. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. There's no discussion behind that. You have to, or else you could be left out in the cold when that does inevitably happen. Then it just becomes a matter of how do you advance? How do you become one of those 2 teams that get through? So I've been trying to play around with that a lot. If you watched last episode that we did a couple days ago, last week, whatever it was, if you watch that episode, that's something I was really trying to do, is just get unique with that Kansas City Detroit stack, and then get those advancement pieces that you need. Yeah. So we'll see. Do I just want to go with 2 Kansas City if they're there? They're not there. Hopefully this guy does not take Xavier Worthy, but if he does, I'll just take Devontae Smith. But Worthy for sure. Laporte is on the menu. Devontae Smith is definitely viable. I definitely look at Puka. And I mean, it looks like there's a lot of people, not a lot of people, but Liam, we were talking about this earlier. Liam, in the couple drafts I did with them in those high dollar value, high roller, higher dollar value, whatever tournaments you want to call, he took Matt Stafford in both of those. Not that that was his only quarterback, because it wasn't, but he took Matt Stafford in both of those. I took Jane Daniels in both of those. Not that he was my only quarterback either, but we're going to go Xavier Worthy for sure. And then Sam Laporta. I just want to get the high value pieces in a Kansas City Detroit matchup. So then obviously that leaves me with Pacheco or Kareem Hunt if you don't get Pacheco, which is fine. And then I got to look to more NFC side. So that would be Puka. I would probably go Jordan Addison ahead of Puka. The Packers are pretty close to being on my do not draft list. I did draft a fair amount of Packers earlier when it looked like they were going to be the number 6 seed. They are not. They're the 7 going on the road to play the Eagles. I don't like that matchup for anyone. So that was what I was trying to avoid. I've been chasing the 6, avoiding the 7, essentially. And, sucks to be me. They flip-flop a little bit. So it happens. It is what it is, but you just adjust, keep drafting, do what you can. Hopefully I've already drafted a winner. Hopefully. There goes Addison. Definitely a few running backs to go. Chargers just signed Ezekiel Elliott to their practice squad. Cool. That does not move a needle at all for me personally. Definitely does not make him draftable or anything like that in these playoff drafts. If I were them, I probably wouldn't even play him, and they might not. Because what are you getting out of Zeke that you're not getting out of everything you already have there? And if you're going to say goal line, Hassan Haskins, Gus Edwards, right? But yeah, that's interesting. Ezekiel Elliott to the Chargers. Breaking news. I'll probably take Bucky if he's there. Soreness severity downplayed. Yeah, he should be fine. There goes Pacheco. That sucks. I'm not in the camp in situations like this that I would take both Tampa Bay. Yes, it does help with a Super Bowl, combination with the Kansas City Chiefs and then the Buccaneers. But with a build like this, all I care about is advancing. That's all I care about. So, in my opinion, the Vikings have a much tougher defense, especially against the run, than the Commanders do. And Bucky's just been on fire. So I'm going to take Bucky. And I have to get Kareem Hunt at some point. I guess I don't have to, but I'd really like to. And then I'm going to go Terry McLaurin. I don't really have to get Jane Daniels in this instance. It would be nice, but I don't have to. I would rather just have Terry McLaurin in this instance. So basically my advancement pieces right now, this is something that I've talked about a bunch. You got to keep an eye on. I'm punting the wild card round with 5 of my players. Kansas City Chiefs, Detroit Lions, Chiefs, Lions, right? Punting, gone. They're giving me 0 points. So I have to get the right pieces to help me advance out of the wild card round. So Bucky Irving, Terry McLaurin, those are my only 2 pieces so far. In a perfect world, Jaden Daniels would be sitting there waiting for me, and I can draft him. That would be lovely, but not something that has to happen, especially with the running back bring back in that game, right? That's another thing I like to focus on when I'm doing these types of Chiefs Lions build where I'm punting 5 of my players, right? Minimum 4. But a lot of times, 5 of my players, you can build a 4-piece on one side, right? You can go with 4 Chiefs or 4 Lions and then just build out the other conference. Absolutely, that's another strategy. But if I'm doing it the way that I'm doing it right now, where I'm mixing in both teams, then I like to focus on a game and play it as like a DFS format, right? So Bucks Commanders is a great way to do that, where I might have, Jane Daniels, Terry McLaurin, and Mike Evans, or Jalen McMillan, and not the running back, which I have here. So to be honest, I'm not too crushed if Jane Daniels goes. I'm really not. I still would take him in this instance. I think he's the best option here out of all of these players. I would rank it Jaden Daniels, Sam Darnold, well, maybe even Baker. But regardless, you could do fine with any of these quarterbacks. And then even Matthew Stafford, you can even throw Bo Nix in there for the rushing ability, right? So it's pretty wide open at quarterback if all you're doing is just trying to advance. It really doesn't matter. There goes Kareem Hunt. That's what really hurts. That really hurts. So I got to try to advance this team. I'm still going to take another, or I'll take P. Ryan later. I don't have Vikings. I could go with like Sam Darnold versus Cooper Kupp. Never mind. I'm probably going to go Joe Mixon here against the Chargers at home. I don't mind that matchup at all. And then I got to just go with the Jaden Daniels side. Like having the running back kind of takes Baker Mayfield off the table for the most part. I could go with Justin Herbert, but I mean, he does have a little bit of rushing ability, but I like Jaden Daniels' rushing ability a heck of a lot more, obviously, especially to get in the end zone. So let's just make it easy on ourselves. And Bucky will get his kind of regardless, I think. So let's take Jaden Daniels. And then I'm going to have to bring in P. Ryan, which I really don't love at all, but it is what it is. I have to get a running back from either Detroit or Kansas City. I have to. There's really, I've boxed myself in. I should have reached on Pacheco. I should have. I mean, then I'm sacrificing Sam Laporta for that. Yeah, that makes sense. Wow, to take both, that's silly. You really don't need to take both running backs. I guess those are your pieces, but there's tons of wide receiver pieces for KC. So realistically, Kareem Hunt should have been there for me. But it is what it is. It happens. So I'll take Piran at some point. Probably be my last pick, which is one of these 2 picks. And then I need my last advancement piece, which has to be a wide receiver because I only have one. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm going to need another wide receiver, which will be Cooper Kupp if he's there. I can't really take Jalen McMillan, but Cortland Sutton is certainly on the table. And then if I had to, Quentin Johnston, I suppose. And you could go with Herbert Johnston. Like if I wanted to go that route earlier and make that decision earlier, then I could have gone down that road. And you could make an argument it's Cortland Sutton over Cooper Kupp. You could certainly make that argument. But I won't in this instance. Will he take Kupp? Probably, potentially. Zay Flowers might not play, so he's relying on Philly heavily to advance. You can only play 2 running backs, so drafting all these running backs doesn't really help. This is some mistakes, I think, personally, with this build. But let's go Cooper Kupp and Samaje Perine. Yeah, I don't like this build too much, but you never know. If I can get this team to advance, and it is a Kansas City Detroit Super Bowl, and it's a shootout, and Samaje Perine gets in there and catches some passes, could be a nice leverage piece. That's for damn sure. We were talking, I think definitely Dennis. We were talking about Keaton Mitchell. I think that was you a couple shows ago. And yeah, that's a similar leverage piece. Very, very similar. Samaje Perine, Keaton Mitchell. You could Ray Davis, I would say, not Ty Johnson, but Ray Davis could be a leverage piece. Guys like that. Rashad White, I draft sometimes as an advancement piece. Austin Eckler is a guy that I drafted not too long ago. He's another guy that could be a leverage piece in certain rounds. But let's do one more. We're going to do one more draft, and then we're going to call it a night. And I'm going to be drafting these off stream after this because I do want to fill this draft tonight, or this tournament tonight. So Gauntlet 2, and it's filled. Hopefully, if you got in, you got in. If you didn't, my apologies again. I get the influencer 1-1. A lot of badgeless, so this could get wild. This could get very, very wild. I think earlier tonight I had the 1-1, didn't I, with Josh Allen? Yeah. So let's see if I can do something a little different. I might just pull it up on my phone to remind myself of what I drafted. Because I do want to get different. Especially, again, I only have 10 bullets. If you only have 10 bullets in a contest, then you definitely want to get unique, from yourself, right? So let's take a quick peek on the telephono, what I did with Josh Allen there earlier. All right, so I got Cook, didn't get Shakir, so maybe I go with Shakir in this draft, right? I think that's something that's important to do as well. Keep tabs on yourself. Make sure you're getting unique. Make sure you're not just taking, Terry McLaurin in every draft, or, Jameson Williams in every draft, Aaron Jones in every draft. I think Aaron Jones is my highest exposed player, period. Sorry, Dennis, man. It was full when I came in again. My apologies. My apologies, man. There's only 6 spots, and these are filling fast. So my apologies, man. It's gonna happen. And with the last draft, I did Buffalo, Detroit. Could still go down that road. We'll see, but not as likely. But we'll see. I definitely want to get better wide receiver pieces. Last time I had Dalton Kincaid and Mac Hollins. Definitely want to do better than that with my wide receivers. If James Cook is there, I will still take him for sure. And then I'm just going to bring up Khalil Shakir and then see where it goes from there. Most likely that's what I'll do. Because you can't plan for getting the 1-1 too often, right? Like I can try different things like the Henry, Cook, build out the Washington. That I can do from most draft slots, right? But with for getting Josh Allen, there's only one spot you can do that with comfortably. Maybe you get him at the 2, but pretty rare. So, with only 10 bullets, I'm just gonna, get different from myself and kind of just do what I gotta do different things, make it make sense. That's about it. What will get interesting is who do I bring back? Um, which teams will I bring back? It's nice to bring it back when you're not taking number 1 seed on one conference to take a number 1 seed on the other. It is very comfortable to do that. And it does make a lot of sense. Jefferson, AJ Brown. I guess you can build out the Minnesota side. Yeah, I guess you could do that. But I would take, I don't know, maybe Mahomes or Derrick Henry here instead of AJ Brown, but it should be a little bit unique potentially. Lamar Jackson drafter hopefully goes with Jameson or Devontae or Aaron Jones, or he takes Cook on me. So I'm going to go, let's go Jameson Williams. No, let's go Aaron Jones and Shakir. Do I want to do that? Let's go Jameson Williams and Shakir. Let's do that. Mostly because, I mean, I could have went Aaron Jones and then just hoped that Jordan Addison gets back to me, but the likelihood of this drafter taking Jordan Addison is pretty high. And then it's basically Aaron Jones and TJ Hawkinson, which is fine. It's just like, where do I draft them? You kind of have to pull them up at least to right here to the 36, 37. What's his ADP? 41, I think, or something like that. 40, 41, which isn't crazy, but this drafter could bring him up to right here. No problem at all. And he actually probably should if he's going down that road, which I won't know until it gets there. So we'll see. Wow, he might end up with Aaron Jones. I did not expect that. The Lamar drafter didn't take any Baltimore Ravens, so that's interesting. The Jalen Hurts drafters taking Ravens. Those two are going to be battling with each other potentially. You got to take Aaron Jones if you're in the 6th pick right here. You have to take Aaron Jones and Addison is all that really makes sense. Yeah, and Addison, you have to take Addison here. So I was thinking about, while I was thinking about that Derrick Henry, James Cook kind of, thought process, I was thinking about that with Minnesota as well. If you want to build out the Minnesota side, just go Justin Jefferson and Aaron Jones right here, then Jordan Addison, and you can bring it back with a Chief right here. So you could have the 3-piece Minnesota, get a Kansas City Chief, and as long as nobody snipes Darnold on you, you should be able to get Darnold at the 30 pick here, pretty no problem. And then, whatever, Hollywood, maybe Pacheco falls to you, but not likely. Hollywood Brown, whatever. TJ Hawkinson is there. Build it out that way. That's another kind of nugget I was thinking about last night. Well, I probably should have been doing more productive things with my life, but but this is fun. Where do we go from here? Probably Laporta if he's still there, which he probably maybe won't be. I don't know. I'm not sure what this number 2 drafter is doing here. You're missing out on all your Ravens, which hurts you a lot. There's still, one more and a secondary running back, I guess. There goes Laporta. So I guess I just take Travis Kelce to try to get unique. And Mike Evans. I think that makes the most sense. Well, let's go with Kelce and Evans. I'm going to have to catch up at running back for sure. But there's some advancement pieces. I'm definitely going to take Ty Johnson or Ray Davis, obviously. I'm looking at David Montgomery as well. Bucky Irving is there. Rashad White, if I had to. I think there's a lot of underrated and leverage plays when you're talking about just advancing. I've got 2 buys. You know, Josh Allen throws a touchdown to Khalil Shakir. Mike Evans has a big game. This is a good looking squad so far. We'll see how it wraps up, but it's definitely unique from my other build. I had Hollywood Brown on the Kansas City side. I get Travis Kelce here. I had James Cook, didn't have Shakir, right? So I did have Laporte on the other one. I did have Jameson Williams. I still would have taken that combination, obviously, but it didn't happen. So I'm hoping to get David Montgomery, who I did have in the other draft as well, but that's fine. That's definitely kind of necessary. It's what this team needs a little bit. And then it's definitely one of these guys. Josh Jacobs gets Tim back to me there. I might have to go that route. But Mixon, J.K. Dobbins, decent advancement pieces. Brian Robinson in this case. Ty Johnson's there, someone I'll be after. Not that I'm expecting to use a Buffalo Bills running back that's not named James Cook to advance, because I really don't think that's sound strategy. But you never know. Ty Johnson did have 100 yards receiving not too long ago. Laporta. So realistically, this drafter right here should take David Montgomery from me, or this guy even. Oh no, he has Gibbs, I guess. This drafter should not. He should probably take David Montgomery. Not that he will, because a lot of what he's doing doesn't make a ton of sense. You need some Ravens, man. At some point. But it probably won't be here. So there goes David Montgomery. I guess I just take Josh Jacobs. Or just 2 Bills here. No. 1 Bill for sure. And I have to take Josh Jacobs. It's really annoying. I'd really rather not, but it does make sense. It is sound drafting. Still Josh Jacobs, quality player. He's gonna get the opportunities, he's gonna get the touches. Hopefully he can help me advance. I don't expect him to win that game at all, but hopefully he can get me through. Definitely Ty Johnson. 3 more picks. Yeah. I have to get 4 on the Buffalo side. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Definitely don't like this build either. I should have probably went with the Minnesota side, considering TJ Hawkinson is still there. What did that drafter do? He did go with Darnold, but he didn't bring up TJ Hawkinson, which he'll obviously be picking right here. And then Ladd went for sure. Pacheco, that makes sense. Wow, good value on Pacheco. this drafter should have taken Pacheco instead of Hollywood. Even if Hollywood goes, that's fine. You'd rather have Pacheco because now what do you, I mean, you're banking on, I guess, a Philly or Rams. And I just don't like to do that personally. It does make sense to take Brian Robinson here. But I was going to take Coleman. Okay. Let's definitely take Ty Johnson. And I think I might need to just fill it out with running backs. NFC running backs to be specific. Yeah, let's go. I might bring in Kenny Gainwell. Because I can always bring in Ray Davis or even Cam Akers if I had to. Let's go Kenny Gainwell. If it's a Philly Buffalo Super Bowl, then that plays. If it's a Buffalo Detroit, Buffalo Tampa Bay, Buffalo Green Bay, Buffalo Washington, Buffalo Minnesota, right? I don't love this build at all, actually. It's leaving a bad taste. Maybe we'll do one more quickly because I don't like this build at all. And it's going to leave a bad taste in my mouth. But maybe we'll do a gauntlet. I don't want to leave on a sour note. I don't like this build at all. It's interesting that the Chiefs are lasting. That's the craziness of this whole contest. All the playoff best ball contests is no two draft rooms are the same. They can, you can see all the Chiefs go before the, 8th round or 7th round or something. Or, DeAndre Hopkins could be the last pick in the draft or not drafted at all, No two draft rooms are the same. It's kind of wild. I've got 2 players on bye, which is perfectly fine. Yeah. I will take Brian Robinson if he's there because I don't anticipate either of these 2 running backs to crack my lineup regardless. But Josh Jacobs and then Brian Robinson could crack my lineup I only have 3 options in wide receivers. I only have 3 options to make my lineup. Could they all 3? Perfect. Then my high scoring running back. Wonderful. Or if I need extra running back help, that's what Brian Robinson will give me if he's still available. If not, then I might. That'll just be interesting. And he might not be there. Where's the Jaden Daniels? There he is. There goes Kareem Hunt. See, final round Kareem Hunt is kind of crazy. DeAndre Hopkins right there goes after Pickens. Quentin Johnston goes with the Herbert drafter and McConkey. That makes sense. It's a good draft right here. Yeah, this one makes sense. Jahan Dotson, sucker pick. That's a terrible pick. Just because he had a game with no one else playing doesn't mean he's going to do anything in the playoffs, if we're being honest with ourselves. Dennis, if you're still watching, there goes Brian Robinson. That sucks. If you're still watching, we'll do one more, and I'll try to, hopefully we can match it up. Man, this is not a team that I like at all. Let's go Ray Davis just to give myself more outs on the Buffalo side. But I don't like this. So let's do a gauntlet. I'm going to do a gauntlet, though. Maybe it'll leave more time for other guys to get in if you're in the chat. I just can't leave it there. But we're going gauntlet We're in. We're waiting on 4. So if you're in the chat and you want to draft, we're in the gauntlet. Waiting on 2. Can't get mad at me. Can't yell at me if you don't get in. This is halfway for me. So 75 entries. So half a max. I'm not going to max it, but I might get to, I don't know, probably 80 for sure, like 80, maybe 100. Dennis, I don't see you in. Maybe you're not in the chat anymore. All good. If you're in the chat and you're in the draft, let me know. Child of the Light. Bad News Bears. Rip City Baby. RIP. City Baby. Sexton Hardcastle. Sexton Hardcastle. Sexton Hardcastle? I don't know. Weird name. With a 4 pick, so this could be one of those. I haven't done it in the gauntlet, so maybe I'll give it a whirl with Derrick Henry and James Cook with the Washington side. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do that one again in the gauntlet because I don't have that at all in the gauntlet. Dan's still here. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for sticking it out. Hey, if you're still watching or if you are watching, hit that like button. Please, helps me out, Keeps me going, gives me motivation, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm going to go Derrick Henry. I might build that out. Let's see. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't, and maybe we'll see. Maybe I'll try either like the Minnesota side or the Tampa Bay side. But either way, it opens doors. If you go Henry, Cook, open some doors. Probably Saquon, Mahomes makes the most sense. Mahomes, Amon-Ra. Mahomes, Justin Jefferson. Barkley, Mahomes. Gibbs, Goff. If he knew what I was doing, he should push Goff, but he doesn't, so he should take him here. There you go. And let's try it out. Let's see what we can do here. Derrick Henry, James Cook. Obviously, Justin Jefferson won't be there. That's why it doesn't make a ton of sense to go with the Minnesota side. If I can get Aaron Jones to fall all the way back to me, then it could make some sense still. If I get Aaron Jones, Jordan Addison, and TJ Hawkinson with Darnold, and then I would have to bring in like a Naylor or even Josh Oliver I've drafted once. Is not the worst. But yeah, I just don't really see the entire need. And I could go with, he might take a Raven. So I could go with Kelsey or Worthy here. Let's try that. Let's go Worthy. And then this drafter could definitely take either a Raven or a Chief for sure. This guy will take, okay, there goes the Chiefs, not as likely to take a Raven. So my thought process was, I'm going to lose. One of the other Chiefs is going to be gone for sure. And that's fine. I wouldn't draft him even if he was there. But this drafter is not very likely to take a Raven. At least he shouldn't. But this guy probably will take a Raven. But Laporta's staring him right in the face too. So chances are relatively good that Mark Andrews makes it back to me. If not, I'll take Zay Flowers. That's fine. And he goes Nakua Kyron. Okay, that's relatively sound. And then Evans, awesome. So I still get Mark Andrews. That's lovely. Yeah, that's lovely. So definitely going to have better as long as I get Pacheco too, which this guy could definitely draft Pacheco. These two could, but they're just not as likely as this end of the draft, including me. That makes some sense, I suppose. They don't play each other till the championship game, so that's okay. There goes Addison. You could say that it's not exactly like, well, it's fine because Brian Robinson, I could take someone like Austin Eckler too instead of Brian Robinson in this build, which wouldn't be a terrible thing. So I'm basically sacrificing Khalil Shakir for the better Kansas City Chiefs side of this kind of experiment that I'm doing, which is fine because there's tons of Buffalo Bills that I can go after. There's tons of Chiefs you can go after too, but we just saw earlier tonight that you might not end up with them. So let's see what happens here. This will be obviously this will be the drafter that could take Pacheco off our hands. And he does not. That's good. So we'll go Isaiah Pacheco. Especially another thing about being in the 4, especially instead of, I did it with the 3, but if you're the 4 pick, right? I'm very confident that Jaden Daniels will be there at pick 40, right? Because these 3 drafters should not be taking a second quarterback. I just think that's horrible strategy if you do. You could try to do some unique things, get a little different, and I couldn't fault you for it depending on what you did, but not likely, especially not that early. If you want to take a second run at quarterback, towards the end of the draft, okay. I couldn't, eat your lunch for that. But I just don't think it makes as much sense. So realistically, it should work out for me. And there goes Baker, which, that's little, well, I guess he did go the Tampa Bay side with the Detroit. Okay. This could make some sense, but I should be fine to get Terry McLaurin and Jane Daniels here. So what do I need? I'm good on Baltimore. I'm good on KC. I need a Buffalo Bill at some point, but there's a bunch. Mind you, 2 could go right here, and they probably should. Yeah, you probably should take 2 Buffalo Bills here. And there goes 1, and there goes another. This drafter could take Bills. This drafter could take Bills. But we'll see. Who's Gale, Dennis? Let's do one more, Little Gale. I'm not sure if that was a mistake. How is Zay Flowers still there at pick 40? I can't do it because it doesn't make sense. I can't do it, but that's crazy. That's wild. Hopefully Amari Cooper's there for me. He really should be. This guy should be taking Zay Flowers here. Wow, you need some advanced pieces. I guess you're okay, but I don't love the Bucky, Mike Evans with Baker. I don't think that's the way to go. And McMillan now, that's aggressive. Maybe he's a Bucks fan. Maybe just really believes in them. But I'm going to take Amari Cooper here. So now I'm very happy with I'm very happy with this of having the higher end pieces of the AFC side. Very happy with that. I like this one. Let's do one more little gauntlet, says Dennis. I only have 4 left, man. Where are we going here? It's just Washington now, correct? Yes, it is. Do I want to go Brian Robinson or Austin Eckler? I'm going to take Austin Eckler and Ertz. Yeah, and I'm going to play off the narrative that they somehow make it to the Super Bowl and it's a shootout with, Kansas City. That's the narrative we're going with, or Baltimore. That's fine. These are good pieces, or Buffalo. All those are good pieces. Definitely unique. If you're telling me someone else in the gauntlet has this build, then they're crazy, much like I am right now. A little bit. Doesn't make a lot of sense, but you never know. It's unique. It's definitely unique. I don't think a lot of people expected the Rams and Bengals to make the Super Bowl the year that happened. I didn't even, and I'm a massive Bengals fan. So there you go. Thought there was a chance. So there you go. There's a chance for the Washington Commanders. Not very likely. But if it happens, chances are pretty high that I'm going to win the gauntlet. Eckler goes. That's silly. Let's take Brian Robinson then. This guy watching the show? Oh, wow. 1, 2, 3. Just Tampa Bay. You're really that's why I took Austin Eckler. That's a quality pick. That's an underrated pick by this badgeless. Let's take a look at his squad here. So that's why I've been preaching for the past however many 3 episodes that I've done that it's Derrick Henry over Jahmyr Gibbs over Saquon Barkley. Why? You could do, if you can guarantee that you're getting Mahomes with either one of these guys, then okay, cool. That's fine. But you can't always guarantee that unless you're the 6th pick and those 3 are there or 2 of those 3 are there, right? So if you're the 4, even the 5, for me, it's Derrick Henry over all of these guys. So looking at what this guy did, it worked out for him. It made sense. This is interesting. Good picking. Nosk. He made it work. Jahmyr Gibbs and then Jared Goff. That worked out. I guess when you're there and I take Derrick Henry, you can do whatever the hell you want, unless this guy takes 2 quarterbacks, which is pretty unlikely. You can take Gibbs, and then whether you get Mahomes or Goff, it doesn't really matter. You're laughing kind of either way. And then, Travis Kelce with DeAndre Hopkins and then Tim Patrick. He's got the Super Bowl stack, the number 1 seed, but he's completely relying on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the Washington Commanders, which is fine if you didn't take the running back here. If this was J.K. Dobbins instead of Bucky Irving, I'd be happier with that just because it makes more sense, right? You take both the Tampa Bay wide receivers with the quarterback. I'm fine with that. And this is a very underrated pick, Austin Eckler as the bring back in that game. I'm perfectly fine with that. I just don't think that Bucky Irving should have been your pick there. It's not impossible, that's for sure, but it's not as likely that all 3 of those Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield, make it happen and push you through the first round. But that's not a bad draft. So yeah, I'm happy with my build. We'll see. It's unique. It'll probably be the only one I build in both the gauntlet and the little gauntlet that I just did earlier. But yeah, we're going to wrap it up. Sorry, Dennis, man. I'm a little tuckered out. It's an hour and a half episode already. I will be drafting the little gauntlet off stream for the rest of tonight, filling it up. There's only have 4 more bullets. So I'll get that fully maxed out and entered. We'll do one more stream on Wednesday night, and that'll be the last stream until we start the big board kicks back up, which I'll be super, super excited for. So from between now and then, I got to be grinding tape. I've already started a little bit, started on some running backs, but I've got to grind tape on wide receivers, quarterbacks, running backs, everybody, tight ends even. and develop an opinion and a take on all these players before the big board starts. And then we'll be ripping big boards like it's it's gangbusters. So stick around, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button on your way out. I'd really appreciate it. Like I said, we'll get a stream going for Wednesday night. So if you want to come out for that, we'll see you then. Like I always say on Off the Schneid, if you're afraid to be wrong, you'll never be right. Hopefully tonight we were right. We're going to bank a big tournament. And good luck to all you in the playoffs. See you Wednesday if you're here. Have a great night. We'll see you soon.